process too.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining in. Welcome back. Today is we're in the third week of January, and our second video this year. We're going to talk about DACA and how to get a green card if you're on DACA.
Yeah, YouTube home videos. Yes. How do you get a green card if you're on DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals? Unfortunately, USCIS is not accepting new DACA petitions, and so they're only accepting renewals. So it is important to keep renewing your DACA before it expires so you can make sure you stay kind of protected under that program. If you do have DACA, it can lead to some immigration benefits moving forward. Specifically, we're going to be talking about ways you can get your permanent residency if you have DACA currently. And one of those ways is through marriage to a U.S. citizen. Now, if you haven't got advanced parole through DACA and you marry a U.S. citizen, then you're going to have to consular process. And that is not a problem. You can get your permanent residency through consular processing. The last step in that stage is going abroad for your immigrant interview. If everything goes smooth at your interview, you come back as a permanent resident. And again, this is based on marriage to a USC, to a United States citizen. Now, what's important in that case is to make sure you have not accrued 180 days of unlawful presence before you got your DACA. And Ali, correct me if I'm wrong, the important fact in that is, so when did you get DACA, right? If it's before your 18th birthday, then nothing to worry about in that regard.
Correct, because you're not accruing unlawful presence.
Until you turn 18.
Until you turn 18.
Right. And then, so if you got DACA when you're 19 years old, you're going to have over 180 days of unlawful presence, and you do not want a consular process, because the minute you leave the U.S., and if you leave without advanced parole, then you're going to trigger in that case, it would be a 10-year bar from coming back, because you're going to have a year of unlawful presence. So if you leave the U.S. Without advanced parole, and you got DACA when you were 19, you're gonna trigger a bar from coming back. So it's really important to talk to your attorney about when you got DACA to make sure you're not going to be subject to that unlawful presence bar when you leave.
So, but if you have an advanced parole, you can come back and adjust status.
Right, and we'll talk about that briefly as well. So yeah, DACA recipient, if you're a DACA recipient, you're here in the U.S., we've been doing this for a lot of our DACA clients, you can apply for advanced parole with USCIS. And if you have a reason to go to, let's say, Mexico, a lot of our DACA recipients are from Mexico. If you have family there that you want to visit, what have you, then they seem pretty liberal in approving these advanced paroles applications. If it's approved, you travel to Mexico for a week, you come back with advanced parole, now you have a legal entry. You don't need to consular process. You can apply for adjustment of status here in the U.S. to your permanent residency without going abroad. And that's what we do for most of our DACA clients. A handful of them, they consular process because they don't have advanced parole or they didn't get advanced parole, and they're not subject to the unlawful presence bar, so that's not a problem either. Now, okay, and that's through marriage to a United States citizen. So there is there's a family route to get a permanent residency, and that's what we just touched upon. There's also a way to get permanent residency based on employment or through your employer if you're a DACA recipient.
Right. So if you're a DACA recipient and your employer wishes to petition for you, and that's doable, totally doable. It can be petitioned, and then like Alex said, if you got your DACA prior to 18, you haven't accrued unlawful presence, you can do consular processing. If you have an advanced parole, you have admission, you can do adjustment of status here. Of course, it takes longer than family. But what's important is that if you have DACA and you don't have unlawful presence or unlawful employment for more than, so it has to be less than 180 days, you can adjust status based on Section 245K. And that is strictly for those people who have not violated their status, meaning they have had status
haven't accrued unlawful status for more than 180 days or haven't worked without status for more than 180 days.
Right, correct.
And so, in short, family is not the only way to get permanent residency if you're here with DACA. You can actually do it with an employment-based green card petition as well. And so don't think you just have to marry a U.S. citizen to get your permanent residency. There is a way to get it through your employer if you'd like to go that route also, or in lieu of the, let's say, marriage I keep referring to.
Or other family.
Yeah, other family. I mean, that's why I keep saying marriage. There is ways to do it with other family members. We're not going to go into all of them because that would be too long of a video. But it's important to keep those two things in mind because those are ways to get permanent residency, and that's always a great thing. Puts you on a little bit more firm footing. You can travel, etc.
So if you're on DACA, don't rely on it forever because it can be taken away. It's on its last foothold. Think of a plan B to kind of firm up your status in the United States, whether through family, through employment. Look it up. And if you have questions, please give us a call, contact us, email us, whatever you need to do. www.americanvisas.net.
Yeah,
We're here to serve.
Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.